Hey guys, Newb here, and I am bringing you another top 10 video. This is my personal favorite X-Men. Number 10, Quicksilver. His real name is Pietro Maximoff. He first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 4, which was in 1964. He is the fastest man on Earth, and some would say the most obnoxious. Quicksilver uses his mutant power of superhuman speed to protect mankind, despite the fact that he feels ordinary humans are beneath him. Formerly a member of the superhero team known as the Avengers, he is now affiliated with X-Factor, which is a branch of the X-Men. Quicksilver is easily one of the world's greatest heroes, at least in his own mind. So I am reading these summaries off of the 1992 Marvel trading cards, just to kind of keep me a little bit more on point. And so, I also know that he was once a member of Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. I also know that he is the son of Magneto. And he has a younger sister named Scarlet Witch, which is also a superhero who was also affiliated with all of these groups. I first learned about Quicksilver from X-Men Evolution, in which he was a member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. He was probably one of my favorite characters in the show. This was a show that I frequently did watch when I was a preteen or early teens. And I was just really fond of him in the show for whatever reason. I mean, it could have just been like young me attracted to cartoon characters. Who knows? And also, I have to point out, I found this picture, and it made me juggle. I'm a huge fan of both Evan Peters and Aaron Johnson, and the fact that they both end up playing Quicksilver after being in Kick-Ass together is great, and they're both completely adorable. So I think the whole me finding cartoon characters kind of stemmed into an actual thing when they were in live action. Anyway, moving on. Number 9, Polaris. Her real name is Lorna. Is that how you pronounce that? Yeah, Lorna Dane. She first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 49, which was in 1968. Polaris can manipulate one of the primary forces of the universe, magnetism. Universe, which is magnetism, to levitate objects, create force fields and fire bolts of awesome power. Despite her mutant might, she prefers to live as normal life as possible, using her superhuman powers only when battling alongside her teammates in the X-Factor. Anyway, there's an extra fact on each of these cards, and this one here is that she once believed that the evil mutant known as Magneto was her father. I mean, I guess if she has magnetism, that's to be expected. The other thing is, I honestly think that she's a fairly attractive-looking superhero. I mean, she has both this outfit and this one, in which this one here makes me think more of Enchantress. I know it's not, but you know she has to be a strong and beautiful superhero when even Yaya Han will cosplay as her. So yeah, I just find her fascinating for some reason. I like her abilities. I have a thing for harnessing energy. Like, I don't know, I always find that, fun and stuff. Which brings me to number 8, Bishop. His real name is unknown, and he first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 282, which was in 1991. The card says, accidentally wrenched back through several decades by the time-twisting evil mutant named Fitzroy, Bishop arrived in our era from one of Earth's many possible futures. Bishop survived the battle that followed, thanks to his mutant ability to absorb the energy attacks of others and turn that power back against its foes. Stranded in our time, Bishop has added his might to the present-day X-Men by joining the Gold Team. It also is added that he was a member of the X-Men in his own time as well. So, my first memory of Bishop, which I may not have, I don't think I've had a chance to talk about this before, but my dad is really into superheroes. He had or has a lot of comics, and he used to have, like, 3 bookshelves completely covered with action figures. And I remember playing with them, and them taking up a lot of my memory as a child. And so I remember this. This here is the same style of Bishop that my dad had. Of course, he doesn't have it now, but this is where I first saw Bishop. I really didn't know what anything about him. And honestly, I didn't know anything about him until this happened, and he was in X-Men Days of Future Past. And I actually liked this movie. I don't know if a lot of people did or not. I really don't know what statistics are there. But I liked this movie. I really liked when it kind of went into was more futuristic, and the fight scenes and stuff like that against the Sentinels. And I thought some of the different things that he was able to do were really neat. And the way he could harness the energy, redirect it. Again, so yeah, that's kind of what I was saying about the whole energy thing, how I liked that. Number 7, Storm. Aurora Monroe. I think I pronounced that correct, I'm not sure. She first appeared in Giant Size X-Men number 1 in 1975. Using her mutant ability to control weather, Storm can summon hurricane-force winds and rain, fire intense bolts of lightning, and fly on breezes of her own creation. In the past, Storm was a thief on the streets of Cairo and was worshipped as a goddess of the wind in East Africa. Now she is the leader of the X-Men's Gold Strike Force, using her awesome powers for the good of mankind and mutant kind alike. Also, I have to share this extra fact because it made me chuckle. Says that she keeps a large greenhouse in the attic of the X-Mansion for... Hang on. Yep, sorry about that. Anyways, she keeps a large greenhouse in the attic of the X-Mansion. Her powers make her an excellent gardener. Like, okay. Things I know about Storm. Well, I was introduced to Storm in the mid-90s. First growing up. And Saturday morning cartoons on Fox. The X-Men would animated series would be on. So I remember this costume and this look for Storm probably the best, and it's probably one of the ones I like more as well. I think I like this more than anything that you see Halle Berry in. And I've also, when I was doing research for this, because yeah, I do that, found out that she had married Black Panther at one point, so that was interesting. But another thing I really remember is she was one of my dad's favorite X-Men as well, and he had at least these 3 action figures of her, and he would kind of rotate them on the shelves. Okay, I think at one point he had them all out on the shelves, but I know that between Storm, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Hulk, those were probably the ones that were most prominent on the shelves. Oh, and Batman, of course, yeah, because they make a ton of Batman action figures. Okay, number 6 is Gambit. Real name is unknown. He first appeared in Uncanny X-Men 266 in 1990. Growing up on the streets of New Orleans, it literally says this raging Cajun used his mutant talent to convert any objects stored potential energy into kinetic energy to become a master thief. Since befriending the X-Men Storm, however, Gambit has given up his criminal ways. I read that all wrong. Now, as a member of the X-Men's Blue Strike Force, he uses his phenomenal power to protect people in need, both mutant and non-mutant. First off, let me say, I am sorry, punctuation exists, and I just don't use it apparently. Also, it goes on with a little extra fact to say that he makes a really awesome pot of chicken Creole. I mean, alrighty then. So, I was first introduced to Gambit, also from the 90s cartoon. I know that, I don't know, I always think of, like, Looney Tunes Pepe Le Pew, but a little bit more wanted to be, you know. He has kind of the French or New Orleans sort of accent, and he tries to be super romantic, and ends up winning the heart of, I believe it was Rogue in this series, and he's always seems like he would be a lot of fun to be around, you know. And being somebody that plays or played Magic the Gathering or other trading card games, you know, he knows what he's doing with his cards, and that's always a plus. That was really lame, my bad. And also, let's just hope that this isn't the worst idea that ever happened. Number 5, Jubilee. Real name is Jubilation Lee, and she first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 244 in 1989. So Jubilee is, says when Jubilee's involved, the fireworks never stop. The spunky Chinese-American child of Los Angeles malls is a blast in more ways than one. Her mutant metabolism allows her to generate light energy plasmoids that explode with spectacular force. Though Professor X has sidelined her from active duty due to her very young age, Jubilee eagerly awaits the chance. So, basically, I've I've always really liked Jubilee. She was one of my favorites growing up. My dad had an action figure of her with her big yellow coat. I remember her from the 90s series. And she happens to be a gamer as well. I mean, she was found in the arcade at the mall. And she was getting like really frustrated trying to beat the high score and blah blah blah. Thing I remember her from most though was a Fox movie in the late 90s called Generation X, based on the Generation X team. And it was actually a very poor comic to movie adaptation, but I absolutely love this movie, and I remember her playing at the arcade and fireworks spitting everywhere. And I don't know why, but I absolutely loved this movie growing up. And honestly would love to be able to just watch it again for nostalgia. Okay, number 4 is Banshee. Real name is Sean Cassidy, and first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 28 in 1967. It says, beware the scream of the Banshee. For this Irish mutant possesses a sonic shriek that can disintegrate solid matter. Holy crap. The Banshee's voice can also propel him through air on waves of sound, or hypnotize the most vicious of villains. Oh my gosh. Okay. Once a foe of the Uncanny X-Men, Sean Cassidy was recruited by Professor X to help defeat the monstrous mutant Krakoa, the Living Island. Now, after a brief retirement, the Banshee is back in high-pitched action. Okay. Banshee is a character I remember also from my dad's action figure collection. This is one he had. He had a whistle and make whistle screechy noises, quote unquote. I do know that Banshee has a daughter who is also a member of X-Men, which is Siren, which has pretty much the same abilities that he does. And her name is Teresa Cassidy. Banshee's first movie premiere was X-Men First Class, which honestly, I don't believe he should have been in that one. Actually, no, it's not his first movie premiere. Actually, this is his first movie premiere. He was Sean Cassidy in this one, and this is also Generation X. Banshee is actually one of the founding members of Generation X alongside Emma Frost or the White Queen. So he is one of the leaders, trainers, whatever you would like to call it. So this was his first movie premiere, but this is his TV movie premiere. If we're talking like actual box office movies, that would be X-Men First Class. And like I said, I'm not really sure that he should have been in that. That seems a little too far back, but you know, they have to use characters where they can, I suppose. But I don't know exactly why I like Banshee. I don't know. Maybe it's just his accent. I don't know. I've always just liked him. He's a veteran of the X-Men. He's been in several groups, and yeah. Number 3, Psylocke. Real name, Elizabeth Braddock. She first appeared in New Mutants Annual number 2. in 1986. Mighty in both mind and body, Psylocke is one of the world's most powerful telepaths, as well as a mistress of the martial arts. She can combine both her mental and physical skills to generate a psychic blade from her right hand, which allows her to disable nearly any opponent without causing bodily harm. These powers, plus her furious warrior spirit, make Psylocke one of the most dangerous heroes alive. So, other things I know about Psylocke is she is Captain Britain's, the leader of Excalibur's, twin sister. And I remember this action figure, which, honestly, look at that hair. I have seen better looking Psylocks than that. But I do remember this action figure, and I remember this being one of my favorite ones. This is definitely a X-Men that they definitely were trying to give sex appeal to. One with what she is wearing, and I've seen other pictures of her that are much more revealing. I mean, honestly, the first picture I showed you with the information on it was much more revealing. But she's also a huge flirt. I am pretty sure she has probably slept with every guy in this image here. I can guarantee she has at least slept with two of them, from my knowledge, and that's Archangel and Wolverine. So, and I also would just like to point out that she's kind of the psychic version of Lara Croft. I mean, yeah. She's hard not to like. She's psychic and she's a bombshell. Number 2 is Shadowcat. Her real name is Catherine, or Kitty Pryde, and she first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 129 in 1980. Nothing slows Shadowcat down. If something gets in her way, she walks right through it. Her mutant ability to phase the molecules of her body gives her a ghost-like intangibility, letting her pass through walls, walk on air, and allowing the things she touches to do the same. Though she's a veteran she's a veteran superhero, having served in both X-Men and Excalibur. At heart, she is still an ordinary, rambunctious teenager. Well, maybe not so ordinary. First off, she was actually raised kind of close to home to me. She was raised in Chicago, even though she has served for Excalibur, which is in England. I've always been a big fan of Shadowcat, or Kitty Pryde, and Lockheed. My dad never had an action figure for either one of them, and because she was not in, at least I don't believe she was in, the 90s X-Men, I remember her from X-Men Evolution. She has a father-daughter relationship with Wolverine. I was always hoping there'd be something between her and Nightcrawler, and there really never was, to say. Been with Earthquake, who was one of my favorite villains in the show at one point in time. But she's probably most known now as being Ellen. She's probably most known now because Ellen Page played her in the X-Men movies. And also, there's a big story arc of her and Colossus's relationship. Also, I really prefer her X-Men garb and not this blue thing, even though that's technically what you almost always see Shadowcat in compared to Kitty Pryde. Number 1 is Nightcrawler. Real name is Kurt Wagner, and first appeared in Giant Size X-Men number 1 in 1975. Despite his frightening appearance, Nightcrawler is a swashbuckling comedian at heart, possessing a mischievous sense of humor and a wild, adventurous imagination. While his personality bolsters the spirits of the teammates, his remarkable agility, power of teleportation, and tremendous courage have proven themselves even more valuable in combat time and time again. I actually really like Nightcrawler because his personality kind of makes me think of myself, or makes me think of somebody I would want to hang out with. And I have never found never found any show, movie, anything that I did not think that he was great in. Things I do know about him is that he is Mystique and Azazel's biological son. Mystique gave him up at birth, and a gypsy had found him. He was raised in the circus, and he had had issues off and on trying to figure out what religion was. I remember him most from X-Men Evolution. He was in a few episodes of the 90s show, but I remember him most either from the action figure my dad had or X-Men Evolution. He was my favorite character on the show, and if he wasn't in an episode, I probably just didn't watch it. Also, Alan Cummings did a great job with him in X-Men 2. And I absolutely love Nightcrawler. He is probably my favorite superhero overall, and not just X-Men related. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I know that was a long one, but I was trying to go over actual information and my personal opinion all the way to the end. Please, like, comment, subscribe if you feel like it, and let me know who some of your favorite X-Men are. So, thanks so much, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.